Welcome to the CC&A Insurance Podcast. I'm your host, Abigail Dixon, and today I've got Gareth Osmond with me.
Morning.
Gareth is one of our brokers, and he deals mostly with commercial lines and some personal lines as accommodation. Today we are talking about business insurance in a co-work or shared office space. What is a co-working or shared office space?
Okay, so it is a office environment where essentially you have numerous companies that are all working out of the same building. No one is owning that building except for the landlord. So each business will rent a section of office. What happens there is that they will have cubicles or office segments in the building. There'll be shared boardrooms. So essentially companies that don't have the assets to obviously furnish their own offices, they'll go into that type of environment where they are able to have everything catered for them. So all the desks, chairs, filing cabinets, boardrooms, presentation equipment is all provided to them. All that they bring are essentially their own assets, being their laptops and such, and that's all that they are then obviously bringing into that environment.
Okay. If I run my business from a co-working space, whose insurance covers my equipment?
You'll need to have your own insurance policy in place, as the co-working office environment will not have your assets insured on your policy or on their policy. Reason being is that they don't have any insurable interest in your assets.
Okay. Does the co-working company's insurance automatically cover my business?
No. So they are not going to provide any cover to you as a business. They are only going to be providing insurance for the building that is being rented. So they will be insuring their own assets, being the desks, chairs, boardroom equipment. They will not insure any of your assets.
Okay. What happens if my laptop or other equipment is stolen from a co-working space?
Okay, so that's where things can get a little bit difficult. Most policies will all have a theft by forcible violent entry requirement. So if the laptop just goes missing from the office, it can cause a bit of an issue. What we normally suggest to our clients is that they have a cable lock on their laptop that is obviously secured to a wall or desk of some nature. So that would have to be broken to actually get the laptop. But most people nowadays tend to take their laptop home in the evening. They don't leave them at the office. But there is always that case of during working hours, perhaps you're away from your desk for a period of time and your laptop goes missing. So under that situation, we would normally always just suggest put some form of safety guard in place, being a cable to the desk or something.
Because then that triggers the theft by forcible
violent entry. So that would cover it.
Who is responsible if another person within the co-working space damages my property?
Your insurance policy would obviously react. So your policy will always provide cover for accidental damage, which would normally be the situation that if someone else in that working environment damages your laptop, it's accidental. It's not intentional. Unless there was malicious damage to it, your insurance policy will still provide cover, but then the insurance company will try to take recourse against that individual or the company that they work for.
Okay. What if I accidentally damage the building or somebody else's property?
Okay. So in that situation, you would always need to have some form of liability on your own insurance policy, which will then provide cover for damage to landlord's property. So if you're negligent in some way that you start a fire in the property and then it obviously burns the building down, your liability policy will be able to provide that cover to you. So as much as we're going to be looking at insuring your physical assets, we always do need to make some provision for liability cover on that policy that you have.
What happens if a client visits me in the co-working space and is injured?
Okay, so we would need to determine who's negligent. Be it that they have injured themselves in the foyer of the property and perhaps the cleaning service provider hasn't put up the yellow signs and they've slipped on a wet floor. then the landlord's liability policy will react. But if they are in your designated office space, and perhaps you have got some extension cables running along the floor that you haven't obviously secured down to the floor, or demarcated that there are loose cables, and they injure themselves there, then it would be against your insurance policy. So it all comes down to who is negligent that caused the injury to your client.
Okay. Does working from a shared office space affect my business interruption cover?
So business interruption cover for someone that's working out of a shared office space, you're going to be more looking at ensuring your increased cost of working, because most businesses will all be admin-based businesses. So you're not manufacturing or producing a product or working on clients' equipment. That doesn't actually provide, your shared office space won't provide that type of environment for that. So it would be an admin type business that's in that office space, and they would need to be ensuring the increased cost of working. So what that is that if that building burnt down and they needed to find other offices, perhaps the office next door has got available space, but their monthly rental is higher than the building that you were in. That insurance policy will then obviously cater to top up that additional cost that you're incurring because a event has happened at your other premises.
Are there particular types of businesses that might face more risk in one of these co-working environments?
No, most of your businesses, like I say, are going to be very similar, admin type businesses. So your risk exposure to the insurance company is going to be quite low, because there's no real high risks when it comes to any manufacturing type events. So no, you're going to pretty much all be in the same boat when it comes to the risk exposure. What
questions should a business owner ask the co-working space owners before they decide to sign up with them?
They should be just double checking that they have got the relevant insurances in place, be it that they've got adequate public liability, so that if any of their service providers, being someone coming to deliver something to their office or a client coming for a meeting, that if they had to incur bodily harm or injury due to their negligence of the landlord, that they've got those covers in place so that the policy, their policy, the landlord policy will react. So those are the type of questions that they need to be asking. It's just making sure that they've actually got a good policy in place that's got adequate cover in for any events that might take place.
Should a freelancer have their own liability insurance in place, even if the owner of the co-working space has liability cover?
Yes, most definitely. They need to make sure that if for any reason they are the reason that any damage or injury occurs, that they have got an insurance policy in place, be it that they damage the property somehow or someone is injured due to their negligence. They need to make sure that they've got their own covers in place.
Because the owner's policy won't cover that.
So if it's the freelancer that is the negligent party, the landlord's policy will not extend to them because they've got no insurable interest in that freelancer.
What documentations should business owners keep to have as like proof of ownership for their assets?
So it's always advisable, especially in those type of environments where it is shared, that you will have a detailed inventory or asset register, obviously outlining all your business's assets. On that, you need to be keeping track of what the replacement values are to make sure that if there is a claim that you've got adequate sums insured to obviously provide the correct settlement. Proof of ownership is always good. When you buy anything new, take a photo, send it through to us. We'll save it in your electronic folder so that at a claim stage, we've got all of those details and can prove that you did have that asset.
And invoices?
Invoices also do the same thing. Quite often on invoices, the serial numbers are noted for electronic devices, so that helps. Or even just a photo of the back of the box that's got all the details on it.
The co-working space has insurance. So that means I'm covered too. Is this a dangerous assumption to make?
Very dangerous. Their policy is not providing you with any cover.
Yeah.
Only time their policy is going to provide cover is if they're negligent under a public liability claim. Other than that, none of your assets are insured. Your negligency is not covered either.
Okay. Thank you, Gareth, for joining me today.
Thanks, Abby.
If you have any questions or would like to contact one of our brokers, the link is in the description. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you in the next episode.